Hello, I'm Steven, the calculator guy. And if you are the type of person who wants to put a whole bunch of money into Anchor because of the 20% APY, but you're scared, you're worried, you're concerned about a potential UST depegging scenario. It's not like you're bearish on UST or bearish on Luna ecosystem. It's just that you are concerned because you're putting a lot more money than you're comfortable with maybe, into UST Anchor, right? And so you want some assurance, that the DPEG won't harm you. And you've looked at the insurance available for UST, and it didn't really instill a lot of confidence in you, right? So, what is your alternative? Well, I am here to provide it. The alternative is a strategy. Now, I'm going to show you a few protocols you can use for that strategy, but the strategy itself could apply to various different protocols. So what is the strategy? The strategy is lending the stablecoin that you trust the most. It may be USDC, it may be USDT, it may be DAI, it may be MIM, whatever it is. You lend that stablecoin and borrow UST against it. So here we're looking at 100 Finance on Harmony. You can see that we can lend USDC for, well, you're not going to get the APR with 100 Finance. The way 100 Finance works is that when you borrow against your collateral, the supply APR just goes away. You don't get it anymore. Kind of a bummer, to be honest, but it prevents looping. I don't know why they're anti-looping, but it prevents looping. So, so you can collateralize some USDC. You're not going to get a yield on that, I'm sorry. And then you can borrow USDT against it at a 0.95% APY that you're paying, right? That effectively means your UST is growing by 0.95% each year. So if you did this with $1, you would have like almost a penny more in UST as a borrow. Your debt would increase by a penny over a year. So keep that in mind. The max LTV here, LTV just means loan to value, which effectively means like how much can you borrow against your collateral, how much can you borrow against what you lent, is 85%, right? 85%. So you can borrow 85% of whatever you supplied. You supply $100, you can borrow $85 against that. So that's what we're going to be getting a yield on. We're going to be getting a yield on our borrow. So we supply the stablecoin we like, that we feel comfortable with, whether that be for you, USDC, USDT, DAI, whatever else, Frax, MIM, whatever it is, and you borrow your UST. You effectively now shorted your UST. And then you bridge UST over to Terra Luna. And the reason why I'm using 100 Finance, me personally, to do this is because 100 Finance is on Harmony. And Harmony interacts really nicely with Terra. So here you can go to bridge.terra.money and just bridge UST straight over to Terra. Super, super simple. You will need a Terra Station wallet to do this, but I'm assuming if you've looked into Anchor, you've probably set up your Terra Station wallet already. If you haven't, I have a video on how to do that. Somewhere in all my videos, I will attempt to find it and link it in the description. I make no promises, but I do have a video on how to do that. But so does like a bunch of people, so you can just Google it. I'm not trying to farm your views, guys. Find the best video for you. So anyways, again, the strategy is find a place, a market, where you can collateralize some stablecoin you like, borrow UST against it, and then bridge it over, and then deposit that in Anchor. Now, here are the scenarios, right? Let's say you do that, and then the depegging happens. The horrific depegging happens. If you're in Anchor, you still hold the same number of UST. In fact, you hold more because it's been growing by 20% APY. So even if the value of UST depegs unrealistically dramatically to like 10 cents. So now one UST is worth 10 cents instead of $1, so it lost 90% in value. Well, you still have all the UST. You bridge that UST back over here, you pay off your loan, and then you take out your collateral. You take out whatever it is. So let's say you collateralize $10,000 of UST. You borrow, $8,000, sorry, USDC. You borrow $8,000 of UST. It drops 90% in value. Now it's worth like, $80. You bring it back here. You pay off that $80 loan. You still have that $10,000 of USDC. You didn't lose any of it, right? You didn't lose any of your initial. And that's what people want to know, right? They want to know that they have that initial, and it's safe. So this is what that strategy provides. Now, I did look around for the best possible platform to do this on. I thought that Solend might be an option because I know they have UST. The only problem is that there's a 7.7% borrow APY here. So you're effectively like, that's what you're paying. So your UST is increasing. Your debt is increasing by 7.77% APY. And if you collateralize, USDC or USDT, I think there's only two stable options. You're getting only 4%. So you're still like negative 3% APY, which is way more than negative 0.95%. So I'm still looking at other options, but currently I'm landing on 100 Finance as the one that does exactly what I want it to do. It would be great if I could get a nicer APR yield here, and the borrow was negligible, but I know, you can't have it all. So let's talk about the numbers, right? Of course, I built a calculator. I mean, a basic one, a super basic one. So let's say, again, your initial deposit is $1,000. Max LTV, 85%. We already looked at that, right? That's right here, 85%. That's how much you can borrow against it. Now, let's say, you're a worrywart, you like to be super safe. The whole reason you're doing this strategy is because you want to be super safe. So you do 80%. You choose to borrow 80%, $8,000. The deposit APY here for this UST, sorry, not deposit APY, borrow APY is 0.95%. It will take you 1,863 days for your borrow to grow, for your loan, for your debt to grow enough to trigger liquidation at the 85% LTV, right? 1,800 days before that happens. You have years, literal years, before you get into the liquidation range. So that's nice to know, right? Okay, so your anchor deposit ends up being $8,000. You take the UST, you bridge it, and bridging fees are super, super low from Harmony to Terra. So that's kind of nice, right? You can effectively bridge exactly everything with no real dramatic fee. So, I mean, I don't know what the exact fee is, but I know they're really low. Let's see, will it give me... No, it won't give me an estimate. That's too bad. But it's super low. It's really nice. So anchor deposit, let's just assume it's like $8,000. Your anchor APY is 19.47% APY. So your 1 year would be 1,557. That's what you would expect to get after 1 year of an $8,000 deposit. Really, really good, right? Imagine a bank doing that. So your real APY is going to be 15.58%. What that is just this number divided by your initial deposit. So 1557 divided by 10,000 gives you this 15.5%, right? So that's what you're actually getting on your initial. You're getting 15.5 on your initial. Now, if you are short on UST, right, and you want to get a little bit more yield, and you want that protection, but you want more yield, right? You want to, maybe even do a little better than anchor. But you don't want UST exposure. You don't want UST long exposure. You could utilize Aperture Finance. There's another protocol called Blocker that's coming out, BLOKKR. I'm still looking more into it because they're also doing something similar. But effectively, this is the anchor, mirror, delta neutral strategy automated. I just did like 2 videos about this, my last 2 videos. So go ahead and check those out if you want to. Not a sponsor, but like they're doing something really cool. You can go in here. You can deposit like 40% APY. That's awesome. You can deposit UST directly and get effectively a low risk, I'm not saying no risk, a low risk APY between 25 and 40%, which is really cool. And it should be relatively consistent. It shouldn't fluctuate way too much, even though mirror emissions may continue to reduce, but it should stay higher than, at least higher than anchor, right? So let's say it's at 40%. Effectively, your real APY is 32%. That is more than 50% better than the original anchor APY. And this way, you're not being exposed to UST long. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to be exposed to UST. I'm not saying that, right? Don't get me wrong. But there are scenarios in which UST could depeg. I think they're unlikely, but there are scenarios in which it could happen. And if you're depositing like $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, maybe you want to give yourself every protection there is available, right? I get that. So, you know, maybe this is a strategy for you. Cool. So that's it in a nutshell, right? Between 15% to 32% should be relatively consistent as long as Anchor survives. Yeah, and that's it. So what I do want to say is what risks you are incurring. So you've given up risks in terms of exposure to UST. Well, what risks did you bring on? Well, the risks you bring on are these smart contract risks. So you maintain the same smart contract risk with Anchor. Nothing changes there, right? You still, if anything happens to Anchor, well, either way, you're going to get hurt by it. Now, Anchor has been super stable, super safe for quite a long time. 100 Finance is a newer protocol, but it's been around for months now, without any hacks, without any major losses or any losses. Lower TVL. So I think we look at the TVL here. It has 10 million TVL as opposed to like 15 billion TVL. So, you know, in terms of protocol size, Anchor, clearly more people trust this protocol because it's getting more yield. So you're exposed to the 100 Finance smart contracts. You're exposed to the Harmony One blockchain. You're exposed to technically the Terra Bridge smart contract. You're exposed to the Anchor smart contract. And that's pretty much it. So you have additional smart contract exposure. That's the risks that you take on with this strategy. The risks that you take off are long exposure to UST. That's it. So you can rest easy knowing that in whatever happens to Luna, if UST goes down, you're safe. That's it, guys. So I do want to talk about one more thing. That's the end of this strategy. Now I want to talk about the Patreon really quickly. You guys can tune out if you want to, but I've added a new benefit to the $100 tier called the Quantum tier. And effectively, now if you're in the Quantum tier, you can book a 30-minute session with me once a week, and we can just talk DeFi. And so actually, I'm already almost half booked for this month. Pretty excited about that. Kind of stoked to meet you guys. But I was initially going to do weekly AMAs with myself on like a Zoom call with everybody, but everyone's time didn't line up. So instead, I'm just saying, okay, we'll schedule a time with me, and then we can talk one-on-one for half an hour. And I even set aside time, so I shouldn't be dealing with any crying kids. I should be in a remote location, so I can focus on whatever your questions are. So that's one of the new benefits for the $100 tier. We also have the Discord, which people are getting value out of. I'm getting value out of. And in fact, this strategy came from one of the Discord members. So, like, I think it's a place of value. Totally up to you guys if you want to join it. It's $20 a month to join the Discord. That gets distributed to the team, the mod staff, and myself. And, you know, I think it's good value. But if you don't like it, by all means, you don't have to be there. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I cannot say how much I appreciate your support, just like as a human to human level. Today, in real human life, someone came up to me. I was at where I do my work now. It's a convention center or community center thing. They have like a really nice gym and all this kind of cool stuff. I just go up there to be in silence while I work. And he came up to me and he was like, hey, I'm part of your Discord. Blew my freaking mind. This is another human. I mean, America has 320 million people, and I have like 50,000 people on YouTube, followers on YouTube, subscribers on YouTube, and one of them is part of my Discord. And they found me, and it was amazing. It was an amazing experience, and I was incredibly humbled by it. Just really, really cool stuff. So Nate, thank you so much for stopping by and saying hi. That was super cool, and it made my day. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful and blessed rest of your day.